Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to the GameDev.tv community podcast. I'm your host, KB, and this podcast brings you the audio experience of GameDev.tv. Now, let's get right into the podcast.
Okay, so my name is Rowena Frenzel, and I'm a 3D creature artist since I think like over 5 years now. And I'm coming from Germany, and yeah, I mostly work in the video game industry and for some board games and stuff. So yeah, actually that's my main thing because I'm a big gaming nerd. I have a lot of stuff here in my bag for games. So this is actually what drove me to be an artist in the first place. But yeah, video games are definitely my favorite.
No, I could see that definitely with all the stuff in the background and the Mario stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, how did you get started with drawing? What was like your first memory?
So actually, I think that's the most boring question ever because
Nice.
because I mean, I guess every artist kind of starts when they were a kid, right? So I think it was 2 or something when I started drawing. I did that a long time, but sadly I stopped it a little bit when I was in my teenager years because, as a teenager you have different things in your mind. So yeah, I drew a lot when I was a kid, and a lot of animes and mangas. And one thing I can remember is when I drew some treasure maps with my sister when I was in the holidays. I love that so much. I think that's why I love pirates nowadays. Yeah, but I think that's where I started, just doing some animes and manga stuff. Yeah.
Okay. And then from there, you went to school for drawing or art?
I was actually in a medium design school in the first place.
Okay.
And then I went to a 3D school. At that time, we didn't really had a 3D school here in my place.
Mm-hmm.
But after, I think it was 1 year, I was 1 year jobless, kind of. After I went to the 3D school, it's so horrible. But yeah, I went to that 3D school, and then I think it was for 15 months,
Okay.
and that's it. Yeah.
And then what did you learn there? Did you learn fundamentals? What was it like?
So for my media design school, it was just random teachers. And for my 3D school, there were actually professionals in the school there who taught us online. And yeah, it was, sadly, the school just opened, so everything was just basic.
Mhm.
But yeah, I learned the basics, I would say. I'm not really a fan of 3D schools.
How come?
Because I think in these days it's definitely more worth it to learn for yourself. You have so many opportunities for free art tutorials and stuff, and I think all the money is not worth it. I mean, a lot of 3D schools are so expensive. And I think it's not worth it to pay your school debt for 30 years or so. And yeah, I think we have different opportunities now.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. And
Yeah.
then, would you say you learned the most? Did you learn most from like going to school or from learning on your own self-education?
Definitely self-education. I mean, I started working with Photoshop. That was my first software. And I think I worked with that, I don't know, many, many years since I was then in the 3D school. But yeah, most of the stuff I know now and I use now is definitely self-taught. Yeah.
You were mentioning you were a big fan of anime and manga and things like that. Did you find yourself spending a lot of time just kind of like sketching characters from those books?
I did in the past. I have to say that I don't really watch animes and read mangas a lot now. And I don't really do characters. I mean, animes are most of the time characters, right? But I'm more in creatures and monsters and all that stuff. So, yeah. But I think I have like kind of a style from manga, I guess, sometimes.
Definitely. Yeah. I think so. I really think so. That's what I took when I had a look through your work earlier. You can definitely see that shining through, I think. And I'm not surprised that you said that that's where you started at all.
Yeah, I mean, when I was younger, I drew my own mangas and stuff. It was pretty fun, but yeah. Sadly, like I said, I didn't draw all the time. I definitely regret that when I was a teenager that I stopped that because I would be way better now. But yeah, I think doing 3D is my favorite. But I wished I would have more time for drawing as well. But you know, there's so much to learn. You can't really do anything. So.
Oh, I feel that with the programming. So much to learn, but it's like so much. When am I gonna do it all?
Yeah, true.
Now, whenever you felt like you were stuck, how did you move past that when like you were learning how to draw and do 3D art?
To be honest, I'm stuck every week. And when someone is telling you they never really get stuck, then I don't know, that's not really true.
They're lying.
They're lying.
Yeah, so
lying.
I mean, I get stuck, like I said, every week, maybe every day, but I really have to say that it's a mindset thing, because it is like depression. You can't really get rid of this. You have to deal with it. So this is the same thing. When you get stuck in your art, then you really have to get through it and learn how you have the chance to come over this. And this has a lot to do with caring for your mindset and caring what you think and stuff like that. Yeah.
You have you wrote a book that I had a look at on your website, which sort of goes into that kind of crossover with creativity and mental health. Very interesting. You want to talk a little bit about that? What sort of drove you to pen a book on that subject?
Well, to be honest, I'm not really. I mean, I'm kind of an author because I really like texting, but you know, there are 4 things where you can go, right? You can do where you can express yourself over images, over text, over audio, or over video. And I'm definitely someone who do this with images and texting. So I wrote this book because I thought I could help a lot of people. I mean, I was in that situation as well. I had a lot of depressions. I have a lot of anxiety. I'm afraid of actually everything. So yeah, it's hard to deal with it in this industry, especially. And I see that all the time when I look at social media on Twitter, Instagram, whatever, that so many artists struggle with mental health. And I think it's not only artists, but I really wanted to help the people with telling my stories and, you know, those kind of situations. And this is why I wrote this book. I actually don't really know if this helped anybody, but yeah.
That was going to be my question. Do you know what the engagement's been like with it? Has anybody contacted you saying that it's been a helpful resource, or anything like that, or do you think people just use it as a tool and then they glide away with peace because they're so informed?
Well, that's the problem of people, I guess. They read something and then they say, "Oh yeah, that's cool," and then 1 week later, totally forgetting it. But yeah, I got some messages from people who said to me that they are reading it the third time now and that it really helped them. And even when I write blogs or something, it really helps people, and I get a lot of messages, even from people who just say thank you for listening. Just listening is a huge help for people. So yeah,
great. Yeah, really
no, I think that's wonderful, because when I was younger too, I felt the same way, where it's like I'm afraid of everything, but let me just push through it. And now I want to be the example for people. Same thing. I think that's beautiful what you're doing. You should continue to do that, because I have friends who are artists who are like, I'm afraid, like I don't want to put my artwork out there. I'm like, your artwork is 10 times better than anything I could do. Just put it out there. People are gonna love it. Just go.
True.
Just do it. Like, yeah. So that's awesome. I'm happy for that.
It reminds me of something a friend of mine who was a guitar player said to me once. He said, the thing about writing music is, he was actually talking about why he smokes weed, and he was like, the reason why I smoke weed is because it helps me get the demons out. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, well, there's demons in my head, and that's how I get rid of them. I play them in music, right?
That's amazing. Yeah, I can totally understand that.
Yeah, that's fun. But yeah, a lot of your Instagram posts as well have sort of little tips and tricks and breakdowns of your method. Is that just kind of an extension of trying to help the community and help other people sort of express themselves?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely turned out to be another interest or more passion for me. In the first place, I was just an artist and I wanted to create amazing art pieces. But I think I drive more and more to the direction of helping people and to understand them. And I really love listen to stories, to just learn more about other people. And I think the more you learn and the better you can listen to people, the better you can help. And I think everybody needs that every day, right? I need some kick in my ass every day as well. So I think that's a good thing. Even when it's just a quote. I mean, everybody can interpret a quote differently, right? It's just a quote. But for some people, I get messages like, I really needed that today, thank you. And this is just enough for me to do that every day, even when it's just reaching out to 10 people or so. Yeah.
Cool.
No, I've noticed too with Instagram, it will put the right post at the right time whenever you need it. Maybe when I'm feeling down, there'll come a post, I'm like, well, I really needed that today. So it's like, sometimes, yeah, these quotes, just put them out there, and occasionally they'll hit the right person at the right moment, and you'll help that person more than you can imagine.
Right. And I mean, I don't only do it for the people, I do it for myself as well, because, I need it too oftentimes. So,
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, self-care is very important.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Very important, especially at the moment.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, we need that all the time, especially in these days. Yeah.
Now I'm curious, how do you stay disciplined? Because I see you wanted to change that about yourself, more disciplined.
Well, this is an all-time struggle, I guess. It's the same. You can't be disciplined all the time. Every day staying up is already hard to do. But I think it is very important. And I think everything comes back to your mind. That's just a very, very important thing in your whole body. You have the most important part. Why I'm so disciplined is I found my why. And I think it's so important to find your why in your life. And it's not like, well, my why is to be rich, or my why is to do amazing art or be famous or whatever. The why goes deeper inside your heart, and you really have to find it and dig to it. So, this is something why I keep being disciplined, definitely, to find your why.
Now, I'm curious, it probably wasn't an easy journey, but how would someone find their why?
So I read a book. I actually forgot the name of that book, but it was from Dean Graziosi, I guess. And he talked about an exercise, what's called the 7 Steps of Why. I think that was the name. And this exercise is you ask the question why you want to do that, and then you give an answer and why you want to do this answer. And you go. The questions are always this: why are you doing that? And you're doing that so many times. I mean, it's called 7 steps of why, but you actually have to go more than that. I did this exercise 2 times. The first time, it didn't really affected me in any way. I said like, okay, that doesn't really work, whatever. But I did it a second time, and I think I asked myself 11 times or so why I want to do thing. And at the 11th question of why, I started crying because it really went to my heart what I said to myself. And at that point, I knew that I found my why. So, and since then, it definitely drives me to do a lot of things. Yeah.
Wow. So
That's beautiful.
in technology, we call that root cause analysis.
Mhm.
That's actually something that's been around for a while. I've never thought of using that on myself. That is a very fascinating concept. Yeah, root cause analysis is all about determining the real reason why something happened. Like,
Mhm.
and as you say, it can be behind layers and layers of the onion. You got to peel it back and find what's really true. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people say, but when do you think you found it? And I only can say, like, do it so many times and really take it serious. When you don't take it serious and you think like, oh, that's just bullshit, but I can't do it, then just don't start. You really have to believe in that. So, yeah.
Okay. And what is your idea of like happiness in your field, or even for yourself?
Happiness in general or in my career?
Let's do your career.
Happiness in my career. I definitely hope that I will can create amazing art, but also mentoring people to follow their dreams. I mean, it's always hard to follow their dreams because of situations, or sometimes you just can't do it because you have to care for other people, or you can't because financial reasons or whatever. But I really hope that I can inspire people, even when they have bad days or when they're feeling just, I don't know. I know that feeling of feeling unworthy or not ready enough, or, I hope that I can inspire people by that. And this is definitely something what makes me happy when I can produce that into my work as well. Yeah.
So I'm interested to hear more about after school. You said there was a situation where you didn't work. What happened with that?
So I think it was after my 3D school, I didn't found really anything for the first month. Then happily I got an internship in another city for 6 months, but I couldn't stay because it was a very small company at that time. And to be honest, I didn't really felt ready to be alone in another city, and that's why I went back to my parents. I still live with my parents, but yeah. And after I came back, I thought like, okay, let's do it. I can be a freelancer. That's totally easy, right? Doing stuff on your own. But that was the most stupid thought and action I did, because it's not so easy to do freelancing, and that's why I was 2 years jobless. But I'm happy that I'm a pretty stubborn person, so I didn't give up, and then it finally worked out, kinda. Yeah.
Well, kinda. I think it's working pretty great, right? Don't you have a Patreon? You how's the Patreon working for you?
It is I would say it's a side hustle at the moment.
Yeah.
I mean, my main income comes from client jobs. And then I have my online shop on Gumroad, and I have Patreon, which brings a little bit. And yeah, I think that's it at the moment. But I really want to bring Patreon and my online shop more into it
Okay.
to get the passive income, because, my end goal is being an independent artist.
Yeah.
So I can work on my own stuff. I think that's pretty important for an artist to get your own ideas out and doing your own projects instead of working all the time for other people and other ideas. And so, yeah.
Oh, that's a dream for a lot of people.
Yes.
Working on their own, listening to themselves. Yeah. Now, those 2 years that you were jobless, how did you get through all that? Was it the quotes, self-motivation, the stubbornness?
Well, I was definitely in depression at that time. The thing is, I lived by my parents, so I had the financial support for them. I'm really grateful for that. Not everybody has the support. I totally can understand that. So people need to work somewhere to get, money. And I was, like I said, deep depression. But I mean, when you really love something, you just don't stop, right? You just keep going and do it. And I believe that every bad situation has something good. You only have to find it. And because I didn't have a job, I met a lot of cool artists because I was more on social media. I built up my Instagram account, what brought me a lot of opportunities later on.
You were jobless and you were hanging out with other people who are also jobless, also known as artists.
Perfect, right?
Why not? Why not?
Oh, no, sorry.
Why not? You have to make the best out of it, right?
Yes.
Right.
So, yeah, so everything just turned out well because I didn't had a job because of that. And it's the same. I was, I think, 1 year in another company after, I think it is two or 1 year ago. I was employed in a company to get my income and stuff. Sadly, I got laid off after a year because the company had financial struggles. And yeah, after that, I, went back home and I was totally depressed again. Like, okay, I lost my job again. I'm into it like 3 or 4 years and nothing works out. I don't got money. And, you have your parents in your back and they're just saying, find another job. Don't be an artist. This is stupid. It is not really a good mental support. And it's hard when you're being on your own all the time, especially when you are more an introvert and you don't have too much friends who support you as well.
Yeah.
But the thing is that I kept going, and that is good. And when you just come through depression, and the good thing is, in this 2 years, I learned so much for myself, and to how I should deal with things when bad things come up. So yeah, and when I was laid off to that job, I said like, okay, it's over. Maybe I should do something else. But at this point, I got a really, really good opportunity from a job, and I could do it when I still was working in this company. So actually, this bad situation turned out as good again. So I highly can recommend for people when they are in a bad situation, there is something good about it. You just have to find it. So yeah, it is hard, but
No,
I know that. Well, yeah, it is definitely there, even when it's just so small.
Great piece of advice.
Yeah, you couldn't have said it better than that.
No, not at all. Not at all.
No, because I've seen it especially in the GameDev.tv community forums. I'll go and look at different students showcasing work, talking about stuff, and there's occasionally some people who'd be like, "I feel like giving up because my project feels impossible. I feel like I have to do so many things, or it's not working the way I wanted to, or I got laid off, or this thing has came up, and it's hard to keep working on something that you really care about when you have other things like happening. But then if you look at the good thing, like you said, now that you got laid off, you had the opportunity to go to that job. It's just kind of like you have to reframe your mind to be like,
Yeah.
okay, maybe this is the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. Maybe losing my job was the best thing. Maybe my breaking up with someone was the best thing for me, or maybe losing that money. You never know.
Yeah, true. It's the same like with the whole virus thing at the moment. You can say like, okay, this is all so bad, but when you just look at the other side of it, you have so many opportunities you can do, or you can redo, or you can do differently, or those kind of things. Just search for it. It is there. The light is always there. Without
beautiful.
darkness, there's no light. That's definitely something I keep in my mind. Yeah.
Very, very true. Very true.
Okay.
You were just talking about you using social media. Is that one of the main ways? Because obviously your Instagram looks so polished. You've obviously spent a long time working on it. And it just goes to show what you can do when you look at a bad situation. You go, no, I'll just hone my craft instead of giving up. It's a good thing to point towards. But do you tend to find that you get clients more through the social media side, or how do people tend to approach you to get you on board with a project?
Yeah, it's definitely social media. So, yeah, I have to say I applied, I think once for a job, but that's it. And every other job just got to me. And this is all through social media. On Instagram, I got some on Twitter, on LinkedIn a lot, sometimes on ArtStation, but not so much. But yeah, definitely Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn are my main income stream. And of course, another thing is throughout other artists, because they can recommend you when you're, I don't know, when you are friends with them, or, something like that. So good connections is definitely one thing to get jobs, and being active on social media. You don't have to be active every day, but I definitely recommend to have something out there in the internet, I mean, nobody can find you when you're not there. I don't know if there's another artist on the other house, in my neighborhood, when I don't find anything about that person. So yeah, just post your stuff. And I know a lot of artists struggle with that, like, I'm not good enough, I don't post my shitty things online. But in my experience, people love rough sketches and work in progress shots more than the finished pieces. This is always the case. So I definitely can say just post it and don't think about the other people. I mean, it's again just a mindset thing. So yeah, so social media is definitely something would keep me going in my business. Yeah.
Amazing.
Oh yeah, and I love what you said. If you don't put your work out there, then how are they gonna find you? Like, you can make the greatest art piece in the world, but if nobody sees it, what's the point money wise? Now it's for you, of course, but if you're trying to make money, you gotta let the world know.
That's true.
Very true.
I'm curious, those 2 years that were kind of hard for you, do they inspire you in your artwork now? Is there like maybe some type of inspiration for your art because of that?
I would say the thing is, I was never really inspired by anything or anybody. The only inspiration I got was to getting away from the real life, because real life is sometimes hard, and I guess we all have bad stories to tell from our childhood, from our past, and I think this is something I really liked and why I keep going with art at all, because I wanted to hide in my art, and I want to create my own world, a better world, I guess, than the real world. So yeah, that's why.
No, I think that's a beautiful idea. Because I remember I was reading a book of something about how game designers are like happiness engineers. It's just something where it's like a lot of what game designers do is try to create a world that's happy, like that engineers happiness. Like the reason you play games is because you have goals and objectives and it makes it fun. And so it's like maybe if we all can come together and do things to make the world better through art, through games, the way game designers make games fun, then maybe we can make the world more fun than it actually is now. So,
Yeah, true. That's totally true.
so that's something to think about.
Yeah, definitely.
Reading books is always good.
Yeah.
It is. It is good.
I forgot what the book was called, but yeah. And then, how did you get into creatures? Is it just you just love animals? Because you know you love pirates. So, is there any pirate creatures you made?
She said monsters, so I
Yeah.
think we're heading back more towards the demons thing. Tell me I'm right.
I actually love everything. It doesn't matter if it's creepy or a cute creature. But I think I'm doing creatures because, like I said before, I'm an introvert and I'm definitely not the most social person. And because of my childhood, I really love to be surrounded by animals. And I think that's why I'm so into creatures and nature, because this is where I get my energy from. I really love it. I mean, I tried doing characters and some environments and assets, but like when you don't have fun doing it, it's not really good to make art. I think that you should really do what you love when it comes to art, and not what brings you the best job or something. Yeah, I mean, when you want to draw only dogs, then do that. Do that with passion, but do it. Yeah.
Love that. Do it
Definitely.
with passion. Make the best dogs you can ever make.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yes.
exactly.
Be creative.
It's true.
Now, how long does it usually take to make? Like, for instance, I see like a dinosaur on your Instagram, and it looks very detailed. How long would that one take? Like a week, a month?
So this dinosaur was actually for a tutorial.
Mm-hmm.
So it took me a few weeks, not because of the creature, but to get my head around doing a tutorial. It is so hard to teach people. It is crazy, but it was a great experience. But when I do those creatures, it depends how the deadline is. But I would say when I take this dinosaur now in 3D, so fully modeled, with low poly, high poly, UVs texture, then I would say like 2 weeks, something like that.
Okay.
So when I work every day on it, but most of the time I have different kind of project at the same time, and that's why it stretches a little bit, because I have to do a little bit here, and it depends, of course, on the feedback. When the client is pretty slow with feedback, then it can take a while to do something.
No, I feel you. And what is your typical work schedule like?
It's funny because I have to rearrange that all the time. I think it's bad when you only stick to one schedule, because you have to look at your situation. Sometimes you feel more motivated, sometimes less. So you have to look at the schedule and take care of yourself. But I would say at the moment, I'm pretty inspired at the moment. I don't know why, but that's good. So my schedule at the moment looks like I wake up at 5:30, mostly 5, but 5:30 in the morning. And then I try to meditate. Sometimes I fall asleep again, but just maybe 2 minutes.
That's my experience.
So it depends on how much I slept before. But after the meditation, I stay up and jump in my workout clothes, because if I still be in my pajamas the whole day, this doesn't make me any productive at all.
Yes, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah. I mean, I hear all the time artists say like, I can work in my pajamas all the time. This is so good. No, you can't, because you're not productive, you know? It's just not good. So that's why I just wear something what I feel like I am awake or I am active or something. And then I have breakfast, and then I sit down and do my to-do list for the day. And then I have other notes here. I'm pretty organized with all my notes here. It's crazy. I have a whole whiteboard here with thousands of notes. And I have my monthly notes here, and I look at that every day to just keep in mind what is important, what I have to do, what I have to fulfill this month and stuff. And then I do my to-do list for the day, and then I sit down for 2 hours and work. Because I'm mostly productive in the morning, weirdly, because I'm definitely a night owl as a gamer and artist. So, yeah, and after that, I do some workout, going to the gym, not right now, but doing just some activities to get your body moving. And then I have a second breakfast because I'm always hungry. And then I'm going back and do 2 more hours of work, and then I have lunchtime, and then I go back and have like 4 hours of work. But it depends. So if I have a day where I don't really feel inspired or motivated, or I don't feel so good, then I just cut out some hours because I really need to care for myself. I know that when I don't care for myself, I fall into depression or something, or burnout. So I really have to care for that. But if not, then I work till 6, kind of. And then I stay up, do my dinner and relax time, you know, like the evening routine a little bit, from 6 to 10. No, from 6 to 9. And then I try to turn everything out, and like the computer, my phone and stuff. And then I read something, and then I go to bed. And sometimes I try to meditate again, but I'm mostly too tired for that. So, yeah.
Wow, sounds like a busy day.
Yeah.
At the moment, like I said, I am a huge procrastinator, to be honest. Who's not? Okay,
Yeah, right.
so
Yeah.
so sometimes I really have days where I stay up and do 2 hours of work, and then I just procrastinate the whole day, and that is definitely not good. But yeah, we all have that. That's not so bad, I guess.
Not at all. It's, at the moment especially, you just have to be, if you're feeling a certain way, you've just got to be kind to yourself.
Yeah,
That's the only way right now.
that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, and you never know. You might feel
Alright.
bad today, but then tomorrow you wake up and you're like, let's do 12 hours of work.
Yeah, exactly.
You just never know.
No, this doesn't really work like that.
Sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah.
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, I have that sometimes. I wake up and be like, let's go. And then the next day I'm like, nah, I don't want to do anything.
That's so true. Yeah.
Yeah. It's weird too because nothing really changed. You just wake up and you're like, not feeling it.
Yeah, but like I said before, when you don't find your why, you are like, when I don't have anything to stay up, why just don't sleep longer, you know?
Yeah.
This is something you need to get up and to do things. So
There you go. Now you're motivating me. I'm gonna fucking kill it.
come to my page. I motivate everybody.
Oh, yeah. I was
And
super
before
motivated today.
My whole life has been changed today. I know my why. I'm
Oh,
motivated.
awesome. Let me be your mentor.
Yes.
Right.
So now back to you said you were teaching or making a tutorial. Do you like teaching? Or is it new to you? What is
To be honest, like a lot of artists, I struggle myself with my art, and my knowledge is not worth it to teach anybody. And I actually never really felt ready to teach anybody at all. And I still struggle with that. I still think I don't know enough to tell people, you know, what to do and not. But this was actually a client project, this tutorial, and my first tutorial ever. And, you know, I'm going with the quote like, don't make it perfect, make it done. I really love that quote
Yeah.
because I just jumped into it when I got this opportunity and I said like, okay, yeah, let's do it. And after I sent this email, I was like, oh, damn, I have no idea what to do. And I actually don't feel ready for it. But who feels ready, right? You never feel ready at all. So you just have to jump into it. And, you know, don't be afraid of that. Just do it. Even when you do it totally bad, just do it anyway. So, yeah, I mean, it was cool. It was a cool experience. The client was very, very nice. They helped me along the way. It took me actually 2 months to finish this. This was definitely not the best. Yeah, I was definitely not the fastest for that, but yeah, the client was cool, and that's all I need.
Would you ever do it again?
Yes. Even when I don't really think my knowledge is worth it, but yeah, I actually do this some tiny tutorials on my Patreon, so I can try that a little bit with the slow public, you know. But yeah, I definitely will do that more. I mean, I need to grow my Gumroad and my online shop, and tutorials are something what people need all the time. So yeah, I have to overcome that.
You got this.
Nah.
We believe in you. Now, something more about like art technology. Now, why should someone embrace new technology that comes out? For instance, like the pads to write for like Photoshop, or maybe Blender, or the different technologies that most artists will use today.
So first of all, it is cool to just do new things. I mean, look at Unreal Engine. I'm a totally huge fan of retro games. Okay, so when you think about back when we have Pac-Man and now you see the games, this is incredible, and this is just made because of new technology, right? So it is pretty interesting to dive into it. I mean, most of the time you don't have time for anything to learn new things. I already use like I think like 7 programs already as a 3D artist. And this is so struggling sometimes to know everything, what is actually impossible. But yeah, I really think like new technology is something you have to learn because of, you know, coming more into the jobs and everything is changing. The whole world is changing all the time. So you have to move with it, right? To be up to date. And yeah, I think that's pretty important for that.
Now, you just said Unreal. Are you excited about Unreal Engine 5?
Yeah, I mean, it looks cool, but I also see some problems with that. So yeah, we have to go slow with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, but what problems do you see with it?
Well, for example, for the rigging and animation parts, I'm not really a technical person.
Yeah.
But it is definitely not the best for the workflows for artists, I think. I mean, they say like you can put, I don't know, 30 millions of polygons already from ZBrush into the Unreal Engine. But what about the textures? What about when you need to rig it? And, you know, we have our workflows at the moment and we need to slowly get into it. We can't just change it immediately. So it will work in the future, definitely. Like I said, the Pac-Man and today. But yeah, it needs a little bit of time. It was definitely a wow factor, but you also have to be skeptical and need to think about it more. So.
No, I agree. Yeah. I like that too. It's like very optimistic, but also very skeptical. It's like you got to keep things in balance.
Yeah, right.
Well, it's like the alpha and the beta version, isn't it? There's always going to be problems with something when it just comes out, and then, you know, gaming is such a tight-knit community that it will sort of come across something and, you know, we'll work the problems out as a community, essentially. That's always what happens with these things. So you're right, we do need to be skeptical and be looking for these problems and solve them as a community, which we will.
Yeah. We will, definitely. That's not the point. Yeah, true.
Now, I know it says on your Instagram, it says you're an art director. Is that an art director for yourself, or you work somewhere as an art director?
That was actually, or is actually, a funny thing. I never applied to being an art director. I never was an art director, and I never was planning to be one. But I just felt into it, kind of. I met a guy on Twitter, and he's pretty professional. He's a rigging animation artist for many, many years. And I guess he saw my work on Twitter. So he messaged me and we talked a lot. And suddenly he said like, oh, maybe we can work together. That would be cool and stuff. And I was like, yeah, of course. And he didn't really mention that I should be an art director or something. So I was like, okay, it's just a cool project with someone together. Especially for someone who is definitely more experienced than I am. This is always good. Surround yourself with better people so you can grow more. And yeah, after we talked a lot, we actually got pretty good friends now, and it's really cool to work with him, and I'm excited for all the things which will happen in the future with this whole project. But yeah, when he started working with me, he was like, oh, by the way, you are the art director of this whole project. I was like, well, what? I can't. I don't know what to do. And every time when we're doing something, we discussed something, then he said like, well, it's your choice, Rowena. You're the art director. You have to say what we have to do. And I'm like, I have no idea what to do. So I definitely can say that sometimes you just have to do things to learn it. So I never was an art director. I just have to do it to learn it, right? And I think that's important to know for a lot of beginner artists. Don't wait for the perfect time. Just do it and learn why you were doing it. Yeah.
No, I remember I was listening to a podcast and someone was talking about Neil Druckmann, the game designer for Last of Us and Last of Us 2. And I think for the first Last of Us, they were like, they needed a game director, and they were like, can anybody do it? And he was just like, I'm not a game director, but like I could do it. I can learn acting. I'll learn. If I'm not good enough, you can replace me, but I'll do it. And so he put himself in a situation, went out there, took acting classes, directing classes, writing classes, pushed himself, and then he became the Neil Druckmann we know today, who made Last of Us and is working on Last of Us 2. It's just like,
this is amazing.
Yourself out there, yeah.
Yeah. So just do it, no matter if you have any idea about it. I mean, you can learn everything, right? So,
I mean, you could. I don't know if it's going to be easy. Until we get the Matrix, until Elon Musk puts those neural links and you can just download information. That would be the day.
That would be awesome. Yeah, maybe in the future, maybe in 10 years or so.
10 days?
10 days? Oh, why not?
What do you know that I don't know?
A lot.
Amazing.
Now, do you have any favorite art pieces you made?
I think I'm still in love with my
Pirates?
my dinosaur. No, with my dinosaur set I did, I think 2017, like 3 years ago now. I still love this thing because I did everything on my own. And it was really cool. And I still love dinosaurs. I mean, I have some figures here somewhere, some dinosaur figures. And yeah, I think that's my piece, what I really like.
If you want, you can show the piece. You can find it.
My piece? Oh, let me see. I have actually, I made a whole video about it.
Oh, that's cool.
I actually, like I said, I did everything about it. The cutting, the not really the animation. I had some help with the animation. A friend of mine did that, but everything else, and it was pretty cool. Do I have it here? I actually don't know if I can find it so
That's
quick.
fine. Don't worry.
That's okay.
Why are you doing
It's
that? What? Since you've been thrown into this art directing, what does it take to be an art director?
Well, from the 3 weeks I'm in, I have no idea. So, like I said, it's
Beautiful.
just I'm growing with it, and I definitely can say at the end of the year I have a little bit of knowing what I could do with it. But yeah, let's see.
hmm Now, how important do you think it is to be a jack of all trades but a master of one?
I definitely be a fan of being a specialist.
hmm
I think that brings you more when you put your focus into just one thing. But I also believe that over time and the more experience you get, the more you're doing your art, you're getting slowly into a generalist. Um, because, the first thing I did was sculpting, right? This was my main thing. And then I put some texturing on it. This is another field. And then I put some UV on it. And then I put some lighting on it. And then I got a creature artist. And then after being that and being focused on that, I put maybe writing stories. And then I put being an author, or you put everything together the more and the longer you're doing this. So yeah, but I definitely say be more a specialist. I mean, when you want to do everything, then do everything. You can do whatever you want to. That's the beauty of art, right?
Yeah.
There's actually not really a rule for that. It's just my personal opinion that works for me, being a specialist and slowly going into more and more, and then you turning a little bit into a generalist. Yeah.
It makes sense though, because you're known for that one great thing, and then once you get really good at it, then you can dive into other things. And then especially if you've mastered one thing, you should know how to learn the other things a little bit faster. So
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's also, I think a lot of artists just get bored a little bit when you're just doing one thing. So that's why we have to do other things as well. To just be interested in the field. And I mean, it's so beautiful when you learn new things, right? So, I mean, I'm a big fan of animation and rigging too. Well, not really rigging because that's more technical, but animation. I really want to learn that. Or being a concept artist as well, to create my own creatures, drawing my own creatures and stuff like that. So, yeah, I think it's just better when you are interested in many things, but focusing on the main thing, what makes actually your income.
hmm Now, what advice would you give to aspiring artists?
I actually really like inspiring artists when you when I have that advice that for an inspiring artist, you have to really take care of your mindset and thing. So this is something I highly recommend for everybody. Like I said, not only for artists, but especially for beginner artists. To survive in this industry, take care of your mind, take care of your thoughts. This is the most important thing for an artist. Yeah.
very good advice.
hmm
It all comes together to the mindset.
Yes,
It does in the end.
Yeah.
it's beautiful.
Very, very true.
You're gonna change all of the game developers' lives, all the aspiring artists, and be like,
I wish
Rowena
so.
helped us. Yeah, I feel it. I believe it. One day you'll be on the stages doing
I mean,
speech seminars. You'll be like, guys.
some
Or
TED
waiting for your
Talks
TED
or
Talk.
so.
TED
Yeah.
Talk, exactly.
There you go.
Yeah, true. I'm not sure if I can do that as an introvert. I'm always nervous, and oh my gosh, I freak out all the time.
Yeah,
So
just like the art directing, you just got to do it, right?
I think you could do it.
Actually, yeah, if anybody, I think you should do it.
yeah, that's true. That's true.
hmm
Amazing. Amazing stuff.
Now,
You.
what is like I guess a reality check? Like, what's the most challenging part of being an artist in the industry?
like I said, the mindset again, but I also think that um, a lot of artists struggle when it comes to competition and something like that. A lot of artists think that they have to be better than the other one, but that's not really true. I mean, just be you. I can't be another artist. Even when I do the same thing, it is still something different. And I think every artist put their heart into their art. And um, this is something everybody needs to understand, that they shouldn't really compare to other people in general. I mean, the whole social media thing is something what gets a lot of struggle itself, because you compare yourself with the most beautiful art, with the most beautiful perfect lives and stuff, and you really shouldn't do that. And you have to take more care about social media in general. You definitely have to use social media and not let social media use you. This is something what a lot of artists don't really do right, and I can definitely count me in. I struggle with that as well, so I'm definitely not perfect at all. Um, but yeah, to get some discipline about that, for example, controlling social media a little bit more is definitely something I can recommend as well. So that you use it for your work and to share it and to keep your words out and to help other people. This is very important. But don't scroll through it without your mind and just get more frustrated with each scroll. This, yeah, something to definitely keep in mind.
Hmm. I agree a lot with that one. Because we even did a podcast a while ago where there's a gap between beginners and then masters. And all the beginners will look at the masters and be like, oh, my art's not like them. But it's like there's a huge gap between getting to that point. And just focus on making your artwork better than yours yesterday than anyone else. Like, don't worry about anyone else's. Just make sure yours is better than what you did yesterday. Improve 1% every single day.
So true. Also, I definitely have to say that your skills doesn't really need to be the high standard, because I know that a lot of artists who don't have really the skills still make a lot of income. It has all to do with marketing, because I think as an artist, it is so important to market your stuff. There was actually, I wrote an article on Patreon about that. And I don't know if you know this banana taping on a wall thing, and it was sold for $120,000. Just a simple banana taping on a wall in a museum. That's it. That's not really creative, right?
What?
Yeah. So it doesn't really have to do a lot. I mean, of course, you have to be good in your skills, but marketing is so important when it comes to doing it as a professional and for your business. So yeah, keep your head into marketing. I don't know. I wish I was the artist.
I mean, I guess we gotta put like an orange on the wall or something. They gotta,
Yeah.
like, what the heck? All right.
It's a crazy world.
It's a crazy world. There you go. Anything's possible.
True.
It's very true.
Yeah. So usually near the end of a podcast, we'll do a little like challenge. So you want to give the GameDev.tv listeners a little challenge. It could be art related, it could be mental health related, it could be anything.
So my challenge for the listeners is, that's hard.
You take your time, it's fine.
I would say try every day for, I would say, like 30 minutes, just 30 minutes, and take care of your mind, because I think that's the most important part. Take some meditation. Try to meditate every day, even when you think it's silly, because, it's kind of a spiritual thing or whatever. But I highly recommend, and this is scientifically proved as well, that when you meditate, then you get calmer, you reduce your anxiety and your depression and all that stuff. So if I would say a challenge, then definitely try meditation and try affirmations. Talk good with yourself, even when it sounds silly, but stay in front of a mirror or something and say something good, or go on YouTube, and there are some videos out there where you listen to affirmations when you can't do it on your own. I listen to that oftentimes. And listen to that for, I don't know, 10 minutes or so, and just keep your mindset right. This is definitely my challenge for the listeners.
I love that challenge. Yeah. Definitely.
So I hope you are into.
Yeah. But thank you for coming on, Rowena. It was awesome, very motivating, very
Thank you so much.
very helpful for all the GameDev.tv students. And we'd like to end it off by handing the mic to you if you want to do any shout-outs, any inspirational quotes, any plugins. But yeah, thanks for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a lot of fun.
Good.
All right, well,
Definitely want to, before you just stop recording, have to definitely shout out your book, Rowena, which is Your Heart is Calling for the Artist Inside You. You can get it on our website. It's great. I've had a little read of it myself. We definitely recommend. A lot of the topics we covered in this are covered in there.
The only thing I want is to help other people. So yeah, thank you so much.
You're welcome. I know you're probably tired, right? Ready to go to sleep?
Well, I guess maybe I read something, but that's totally fine. I mean, I'm a gamer. I'm up all night, all the time. So.
What is your favorite game?
At the moment, it's still Skyrim.
Oh, really?
Well, that's it. Thanks for listening. You can find all GameDev.tv courses at courses.gamedev.tv/courses or in the show notes with a 10% discount. Get started with your game development journey today.